Hello, my name is Alicia Shapiro with AiNews.com, and welcome to another episode of our Driving Tomorrow Conversations with Industry Leaders, where we explore the latest developments and newest innovations in the world of artificial intelligence. Today, we are thrilled to speak with Paul Baier, the CEO and co founder of GAI Insights. With over 20 years of experience in software leadership and a robust background as a seasoned entrepreneur, Paul has been at the forefront of leveraging generative AI to drive business results. At GAI Insights, Paul and his team are dedicated to providing cutting edge research, practical advice, and best practices for AI leaders. Their mission is to help enterprises navigate the complexities of generative AI and achieve significant ROI through innovative strategies. Join us as we discuss Paul's journey, the impactful work of GAI Insights, and the future of generative AI. So thank you for joining us today, Paul.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We'll go ahead and get started. With over 20 years of experience in software leadership and being a successful software entrepreneur, can you share a pivotal moment in your career that steered you towards focusing on generative AI and eventually founding GAI Insights?
Absolutely. One of the things that really helped me understand this opportunity was the 5 years I spent at a company called First Fuel Software. This was a venture-backed company that we used traditional machine learning, traditional AI. We raised $70 million, and we did what was then a crazy notion of just looking at data to understand how well a large commercial building uses electricity. And that really helped me understand the traditional machine learning. And we had 30 software engineers, 12 subject matter experts, 7 machine learning folks, 4 product managers, and really helped me understand the limits and the benefits of that particular traditional technology. So when ChatGPT hit, I just couldn't believe how powerful it was. And when I started
Yeah.
calling all the AI experts that I work with, they were blown away. And it was very clear that this was a transformative moment in time.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. And GAI Insights is recognized as a leading generative AI industry analyst firm. Can you elaborate on some of the most impactful insights or best practices that your team has developed that has significantly influenced how enterprises approach generative AI?
Yes, we're very excited about helping companies, in part because my co-founder, Dr. John Sviokla, was a HBS business professor for 12 years, but importantly, for this moment in time, he did his PhD in 1986 on expert systems. So
Oh,
he's had 40 years of thinking about the academic application of AI for business. And he and I have really been able to get, fortunately, ahead of really thinking about how to use this. One of the things that we've gotten a lot of good feedback for is something called our WINS framework.
mm,
WINS stands for words, images, numbers, and sounds. We
mm,
believe knowledge work is too broad, that your
mm,
lawyer is a knowledge work, and he works with digital stuff, but so is your doctor who's actually
mhm,
doing the operation. So WINS is a subset of that. And companies that have high percent of their cost and high percent of that is already digitized, like insurance, entertainment, professional services. These are companies that we call are in the crucible, and they're
mm.
having the biggest impact on from generative AI. So this WINS framework is very useful at the industry level, the company level, and at the individual job level for understanding urgency. It's not urgent for all, but it is
Mm.
urgent for many.
I like the differentiation. That is good point that knowledge work is a broad category. And you mentioned the WINS framework. Could you explain the concept a little more in detail and how it helps companies determine where to start with their generative AI initiatives?
Yeah, sure, certainly. So wins is simple. It's just think of a little simple 2 by 2. One is the percent that's digitized of the work and percent of your cost base. So if you have most of your cost base is already digitized, thanks games. This is
Hmm.
thanks entertainment industry. This is why we had a 6 month strike, a real strike in Los Angeles for
Yeah.
the writer strike because of ChatGPT, because that is work that's all digital, it's all computers, and it has profound impact. Now, if you're way on the other side at a steel mill, that physical plant's not changing at all. Maybe you can do some
Right.
small incremental things on the side. So those are maybe holding a lever or maybe just watching it. We call it on the balcony. But that's really helps executives and investors understand, one, where the opportunities are, two, where it's not as urgent. I can wait a little bit. And three,
Mm-hmm.
when you start taking that down to a specific job level, you start seeing a profound change. So, business analyst, lawyer, marketing, those are all high wins work, and those jobs will be impacted a lot more than a supervisor on the plant floor, a store manager, because they're also working in the physical world as well as the digital world.
Yeah. And I like that you don't need to rush into it. Everybody does have the FOMO of missing out. If you rush in too early and you don't have the systems in place to support it, you could be opening yourself up and your business up to a lot of problems and things like that. So
Well, that's
that's
why I think it's important to get alignment at the executive board level on the urgency question.
mhm.
If your whole business is doing blog posts, you do need to get into it.
Yeah,
Can't wait. So there's four main strategies. You can be a leader, a fast follower, a slow follower, or no follower. And depending on where your industry urgency is and what your business strategy is, you can calibrate your appropriate investment because of that.
I love that. Yeah. And can you share a case study or an example of a company that successfully implemented your strategies and saw a substantial return on investment?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the ones we really like is a company called Jerry. They are an auto insurance company. They've raised about $400 million. And they're one of the first companies in the world to be in production with ChatGPT 4 last summer.
Oh,
And you buy car insurance on your phone. So it's very digital. And all the customer service is done by text. So they were getting 200,000 text messages a month.
wow.
Where's my quote here? And they realized that's a high wins work. They implemented GenAI and they reduced the text volume from people to machines by 90% and increased customer satisfaction. So it's a great example of actually realizing that this is a process in a fast growing market that generative AI particularly is well suited for.
It's great. And you have an upcoming Generative AI World conference coming up, and it's getting a lot of attention. What can attendees expect from the event, and how do you envision it contributing to the broader AI community and industry leaders?
Yes, we're very excited about the event. It's a 2 day event. It'll be 400 AI leaders, and it's board level down the C minus two or three, so down to the
Hmm.
director level. And it's very much in the lane on applying it, not
Oh, okay.
necessarily the best speeds and feeds, but how do I decide which of the 85 projects I have in front of us? What can I learn about companies who are ahead of us, who are over the Mississippi, if you will, who've been in production for 6 months and now learning what the next set of issues are here? So we have representations and CEOs from insurance, from healthcare, life sciences. So it'll be a great way to one, learn.
Hmm.
Second, a great way to network. And three, we have several companies are actually buying a whole table to bring their whole cross-functional team there to
Wow,
accelerate alignment on the team as well.
that's great. That sounds very helpful for sure for a lot of companies. And looking ahead, what are some emerging trends or challenges in generative AI that you believe AI leaders should be prepared for? And how is GAI Insights positioning itself to address those developments?
A lot of trends going on. I think that one of the ones depends on your business sector, but there's absolutely, in our view, in our analysts, an SEO bloodbath coming here.
Oh,
Gartner
yeah.
estimates that 20% of Google traffic's going away. Our estimate's more at 15%. Regardless, it's a lot. And if you use free tools like chathub.gg, where you can put in what's the best product, do X, and then see 6 different answers from 6 different LL machines or robots, you'll see how different product discovery and product search is. And you can't do search engine optimization yet over in large. So that's one trend. The other big trend we're seeing out there is really companies really starting to think through and understand what this means for their digital intelligence. So this whole notion of I want to own my own digital intelligence. I want to control my own digital intelligence. I want to protect my own digital intelligence. What does that mean? What does that mean for what's behind the firewall? What does that mean for how much data I actually give the cloud providers? What does it mean? Am I going to be using open source or not? So those are the two biggest trends. And at the
Hmm.
third level, last year was all about pilots, and very few companies were in production. This year, it's about maybe 10% of the companies now in production, and next year is going to be a banner year in terms
Wow.
of being in production. So if you're in one of these industries that are in the crucible, you need to get your organizational learning curve started because it's a 6 to 9 month learning curve. And once you get on a learning curve, you're going to be 12 to 18 months ahead of your competitors.
That's great advice. And before we wrap up, I'd like to shift to a couple of lighter questions so the audience can get to know you a little bit better. When you do step away from your work, what are some activities or hobbies that you're passionate about?
I'm a little geeky. I like to read philosophy. I love
Nice.
stoicism. I like cigars. So you might find me in a park reading a philosophy book with no phone, having a cigar. I spend a lot of time with my family, enjoy that. And third, I'm in New England here, and we really try to enjoy all the wonderful things we have in Boston, from the sea, getting to the sea and getting up to the mountains.
I love that. That sounds great. And what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs who are looking to start or grow their business using generative AI?
I think the first and foremost, don't compete directly against the cloud providers. The cloud providers are an intergalactic war, and large language models are a little feature in that. So that's don't get in that war.
Yeah.
But fine, there's plenty of other niches there. Second is to think bolder. This is moving faster and higher scale than we've ever seen before, and our monkey brains have a hard time understanding what exponential growth is. So
Yes.
think bigger. We are not limited by our imagination in this technology thing, where so many times we're limited by technology. Here, our imaginations are limiting the opportunity set. And the third is to really take care and hone your technical talent here. That is the shortage. It's not, we don't need any more AI technology. We can't even use what we have.
Yeah.
There's not enough people who understand how to apply. And that's all disciplines, not just the core engineers, but product managers, ML ops, all those people around there are even more valuable now than they were before the Gen AI age hit us.
That's great advice. Yeah. And thank you so much, Paul, for joining us today and sharing your invaluable insights. Your expertise in generative AI and entrepreneurial advice has been truly enlightening, and it's been such a pleasure talking with you today. For more information about GAI Insights, you can visit their website, GAIinsights.com. And if you'd like to register for the Generative AI World Conference, you can go to generativeaiworld2024.com. Keeping you connected to tomorrow. Today, this is Alicia with AiNews.com.